Good morning. Over the last while, as I've been trying to get into hot sauces and try to improve my technique, there has been one common question found online, and that is, what is better, strips or a pH meter to test your pH? Well, I've decided through trial and error just to do it on my own, and I found some very interesting results, but now I wanted to try and put it down to a more of a permanent test that you guys can actually see what the difference between the two is. So I'm going to start off firstly just by using this, it's called Essig Essence. So that's a vinegar essence. It's a 25% acid, and it's supposed to be diluted down before you can add it to your salads and things like that. But I'm going to take 200 milliliters of water, and I'm going to add a few drops of this vinegar, and then at each stage of adding the drops I'm going to do a test strip as well as the pH meter to see what the difference is in the pH readings. After that, I've got about 4 hot sauces which I've made with a variety of different colors and consistencies, and I'm going to test both the strip and the pH meter in these sauces, and then you can see for yourself which one you think you would like to use when you are making your hot sauces. So I'm just going to arrange this so that you can see it better, and then we will... Okay, let me first introduce you to the tools I'm going to use for this test. This is an instrument from Apera. It came very nicely boxed. The reason why I chose this particular machine is because Chili Chump mentioned it on his channel and he was very impressed with it. So I thought, hey, if he's using it, why not? It comes with some solution to calibrate your instrument. And I did the calibration yesterday, so I don't need to go into that. It's important that when you're storing this, that you put a few drops of a solution in here just to keep it moist, and then it stays user-friendly for many years. But you need to regularly test the pH, both with a pH of 4 and a pH of 7. The other one that I'm using, there's the strips, and this one here is a new one that I got off of Amazon. Probably going to break the box as I get into this thing. Well, there we go. So it's a wheel, and in it has got the strips, brand new. And for those of you that have not used these sort of things before, the wheel itself has got a pH sensitive type of material, paper, and it is then changes color when you dip it into your solution, and then you read it off the side here from pH from 0 all the way up to 14. We're going to be starting with water, which means we're probably sitting with a pH of 7. And then as I add the drops of the acid, I should be reducing this all the way down. Now we know that a pH of less than 4 is something we're aiming at. And if you want to be really pedantic, like 3.4 or 3.7, then of course this doesn't quite get there, but you can sort of get colors that will then be between. So in case you don't know how this works, this has got a strip of paper on the inside, and the paper is pH sensitive. You then will drop it into your water. You will have a look at the corresponding color that is reflected on the paper to give you the pH that you are looking at. In correlation to the machine, when you turn that on, it'll give you a reading on a digital display. Alright, so we have our pH reading of our normal water. 6.8. Now, I'm going to add the acid. I firstly put a bit of a splash in it, and it just dropped the pH just far too fast. So I'm trying to do it now a little bit better dose. I've got a syringe, and I'm going to add 2 drops. And just see what that does. So we got 2 drops. Okay, so we had a 6.8. Now 2 drops. 6.6. No, 6.5. Okay, 2 drops. 6.5. Would we notice the change with the strips? Still looks like it could be between 5 and 6. No, it's a bit more greener, between 6 and 7 still. All right, between 6 and 7. All right, now let's add another 2 drops. So we've got 4 drops. Oh, turn it off. Turn itself off. That's fine. Turn it back on. Make sure it settles. 1. It's got a funny brown color to the paper, so you don't know whether it's 6. It looks pretty close to the 6. All right, so I'm going to go with the 6. Let's go with 4 drops. Now we double up on that. So it was 4 drops already, so I'm going to make it 8 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're sitting with 8 drops now. 5.2. 5.2. Are you able to tell the difference there between the 6 and the 5? Can't really tell. It's a bit darker. I'll call it a 5. Okay, another 2 drops. So that's 8, 9, 10 drops. Two drops, only took it down to 4.9. Still looks like 5. Okay, now for hot sauce, we only really need it to be below 4,6. But I like to go below the 4 if I can. So I'm going to add another 2 drops. Four comma 7. So 2 drops at a time does not make it go down too quickly. 4 drops seems to take off 1 pH point. That's kind of cool. Okay, I'm going to think this thing's probably still going to show 5. Oh, it seems to be it's between 4 and 5. Between 4 and 5. Let's add another 4 drops so we can get a good move here on this one. So there'll be 16 drops in total. Another 4 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4. That took it down to, that only took it down to 4.5. It seems the more acid it gets, the harder it is to move that decimal points. Still looks closer to the 5 than the 4 when I look at these strips. Closer to the 5 than the 4. 4 to 5, that's closer to the 5. Another 4 drops. Drops. That's 20 drops in total. Let's see what this says. What do you think that is if I use the machine? I can see a bit of 4 coming out there. It's moving from the 5 to the 4, where the last ones were sort of staying around the 5s. So it's 4 to 5 still, but it's hedging more towards the 5, hedging more towards the 5, and this one's hedging more towards the 4. All right, let's see what it says. .3. Okay, I certainly want to go below the 3, so 1.5 milliliters so far. Let's go with another, let's do it in 5 drops now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not moving very quick at all. That I didn't expect to happen. I thought it would be a constant move, like it's really quick up here. I thought it would be really quick down here, but it slowed down somewhat. All right. Okay, that one seems to be heading more towards the 3. I don't know, what do you think?
No. Between the 3 and the 4. So this one's between 3 and 4. Hedging more towards hedging more towards the 4. Okay. Oh, turn it back on again. $4.2. Okay, another 5 drops. That's exactly 2 milliliters in 200 milliliter of water. Okay. Well, that's got a nice orange. Oh, that's heading towards the 3. That's in between the 3 and the 2. Between 2 and 3. Edging towards the 3. That's between 2 to 3, hedging towards the 3. All right, let's see what this guy says. This thing still says 4.1. All right, let's go with another 5 drops. What do you think? Three to 4, hedging towards the 4. How's that? Let's do that again. Do it again. 3 to 4. Going towards the 4. That's funny. What happened here? Let's see what this is. This was 4.0. Okay. Perhaps this one is operator error. Let's go with 10 drops. 1, Okay. So that's 45 drops. What do you think? 3 to 4, hedging towards 3. Got a funny orange color. More like it's 4. 3 to 4, hedging towards the 4. All right, let's come out here. .9. So let's go 55 drops next. 3.9. Another 10 drops. Okay, so 10 drops. Oops, crash. All right. That immediately went red. Looks like it's between 2 and 3. 2 and 3, I think. It's difficult to say where it's hedging towards. I think it's somewhere in the middle, so it doesn't really, it's not either one or the other. All right, let's see what this one says. .8. Okay, last one, 65 drops. There we go. That was exactly 2 milliliters of acid. Let's do this one first then. .7. .7. This one. What are you gonna think? This one's not so red anymore. Between 3. Yeah. 3-ish. All right, so just looking at my results here, when adding the drops, the pH meter consistently reduced as you would expect. It reduced very quickly initially, but then it slowed up and I had to use quite a few more drops to get any move. Like this one here, 10 drops and only had a 0.1 move. The pH meter kept going down nicely, consistently, when it was the higher pHs. But then it became very difficult to measure the point value. It was somewhere between, and you had to sort of like fairly guess. But the fairly guesses were good. I mean, this one was 4 to 5, hedged towards the 5, and that was what we saw here. This is 4.5, hedged towards the 4, and that's what we saw there. When we got down to the lower ranges, then I started to get anomalies. I had an anomaly there, and I had an anomaly here. So I had two results that sort of didn't fit in with the pattern that we were seeing. It wasn't this, you'd expect it to continue to progress downwards, but we're having this deep drops and then back to normal, or so you could say user error. You could say, you can make up any theory that you want. I'm going to go with user error, that we just don't read it directly off the strips like we should. Then again, down here, it appears that the strips are okay when you're dealing with the higher pHs, but when you're dealing with the lower pHs, then you have reason for user error when using strips, whereas the pH meter didn't have this. It had the drops, the normal drops that we would expect, and not these dramatic variables. So just using the water with the acid test, you can see that from this, the meter is definitely far better than the strips. I'll move on to the sources in a moment, and you can then see how color of sources plays a role in reading what you are getting on your strips.